So last night, I made the incredibly informed decision to join a pet rabbit server on Discord. It only lasted like 10 minutes, but oh my god. So I had sent in a video and picture of my two pet rabbits on wire flooring, and I was trying to play them. I was like, oh, look at my babies. They took down the video and picture, and their response was, wire flooring in cages is highly not recommended. Rex heavy breeds, and listen to this, poorly bred rabbits with thinly furred feet are especially prone to sore hocks. I'm agreeing with you, because that is true. Welcome, but please do not post your rabbits on wire flooring. It is very bad for them. I encourage you to improve their flooring as soon as possible, as it can have health complications. These are the two rabbits that I sent into the Discord, and neither one of them are heavy breeds, poorly bred, or Rex furred. Therefore, their logic and reasoning does not apply to those two rabbits, but they still removed the picture and video. So now I'm gonna kind of pick apart what they said just a little bit. Rex and heavy breeds. Yes, technically these two do fit into the category of typically having more issues on wire than a standard regular rabbit. And then we have poorly bred rabbits, which are gonna have issues on wire or a solid surface. No matter what you have them on, they're still gonna have issues. Which is why it's so important to breed for good genetics and thick fur on the feet. For heavy breeds, I believe they do require a thicker gauge wire. And if we go down a little bit, additionally, untrimmed nails and toes can get caught in improperly sized holes and be broken. This is true, but here's the fun part. This is also true for carpet. So your logic literally makes no sense, and this is why we have to trim rabbit nails. And this is when both me and Devo ended up calling them out, because quite literally in their text it said poorly bred rabbits, and Rhina ended up saying it's usually referring to rabbits with thinner fur, i.e. Rex rabbits, while the one that was replying to me earlier said it's all rabbits that have issues with it. So two moderators ended up disagreeing and contradicting each other. But also, I'm gonna add here, it's not Rex rabbits that are the issue, it's poorly bred Rex rabbits that are the issue, because Rex rabbits can do completely fine on wire flooring. And then they banned me because I asked questions and because I literally pointed out the fact that they contradicted themselves. But before they banned me, I did ask for their source on where they're getting this information for wire flooring, and they did send me two. So we're gonna quickly go through those. The first thing that I want to point out here is people get so mad at the fact that MMC Bun Club has a wiki page where she puts all of the correct studies and information on rabbits, and they're like, oh, it's a wiki page, that does not count. Look at the top of the screen right now. This is also a wiki page. Crazy how that works, huh? Remember that surviving is not thriving. If you get a pet rabbit, you should treat it as a family member. Family should not live alone all the time in an isolated shed or hutch outside. Rabbits are livestock. They are not people. Therefore, you should not be treating a rabbit like a human being. Rabbits are safer indoors and out of reach of predators. This can technically be true, but if you have them in the proper housing, this is not true at all. Rabbits are social animals, and in the wild they live in enormous warrens. They enjoy the companionship of people and other rabbits. Technically, this is true. Rabbits do live in warrens. However, did you know that they have individual burrows? Therefore, they do not come in contact with each other in those warrens, because guess what? Rabbits are not social like that. They like living near each other, but not with each other. This one really cracked me up because it says indoor rabbits will probably live longer. This is not necessarily true, because if you have an outdoor rabbit that is properly housed and getting the proper diet, it will live longer than its wild counterparts. Now, rabbits can overheat very easily, but the chances of your rabbit freezing to death are very, very extremely low. Rabbits need exercise. So, wild rabbits spend 23 hours of their day living in a 1 square foot hole in the ground, aka their burrow. so they're not really exercising a whole lot. You may have seen videos of wild rabbits, see how they love to run around. Yeah, they're running around because they're trying not to get eaten by predators, and they're extremely stressed while they're doing that. Outdoors, you can never see your bunny Binky. All of my rabbits are outdoors, and I see them Binky all the time. A rabbit will do completely fine on its own outside, but also please do not try and quote-unquote bond your rabbits. That's not a thing. And here's them recommending rugs. You remember at the very beginning of the video when I mentioned that rabbits' toenails can still get caught in rugs, and it's actually more likely that they're going to get caught in rugs than wire-bottom cages? Rugs are also more abrasive to rabbits' feet, and if they chew them, it can cause an impaction. If you stayed here this long into the video, I congratulate you. These are the references that they gave for that quote-unquote study that I just went through, that I asked for from them. So now I'm going to go through the references in another video, because this video is getting super long. So I am going to go through these references if you want to see that, because I can almost guarantee you they're either incorrect, not science-based, have not been proven correct, or just completely wrong. But yeah, we're going to go through that next. So if you saw the last video, I'm about to start going through the references/studies that the House Rabbit Society gave me. The first one we're going to go through is the San Diego House Rabbit Society, so this one right here. The first thing that I'm going to mention is, in this specific reference, there's absolutely nothing scientifically based, but we're going to go ahead and get into it. If you're keeping your rabbits in the proper housing outside, that eliminates predators, most parasites, pesticides. Why are you spraying pesticides near your rabbits to begin with? And dangerous temperatures can be managed, so we're going to go ahead and throw all of that out. Keeping rabbits inside versus outside is not going to double their lifespan. And what I mean by that is, what actually doubles a rabbit's lifespan is being kept in the proper housing and fed the proper diet. The third point that they try to make here is that keeping rabbits indoors makes them less vulnerable to RHVD2, which is technically true because the rabbit is being housed indoors and is not coming into contact with the soil, the dirt, the ground. However, RHVD2 can be spread through your shoes, so if you're walking somewhere that has it and you come into your household with your free roam bunny, now you are putting your rabbit in direct contact with it. Therefore, keeping rabbits off the ground in wire-bottom cages is better, because it limits direct contact with it. And a lot of people who have rabbitries actually do have specific shoes that they only wear in their rabbitries. The last point that they try to make here is that rabbits housed outdoors don't receive as much attention as rabbits do indoors, and that's just simply not true. My rabbits are outdoors and they receive a lot of attention. Keeping rabbits indoors does not necessarily keep anxiety and stress down. What actually keeps down anxiety and stress is not housing your rabbits together and keeping them in the proper sized cage. Rabbits are territorial toward each other and they should not be housed together. With the other animal situation, that would really depend on the rabbit, the other animal, and it should only happen under supervision. Rabbits are prey animals, and yes, they do hide their illness extremely well. However, you can manage that with outdoor rabbits completely fine. I have about 30 at the moment, and I manage them every single day. I know people who have had upwards of 100 plus rabbits at one given time and can manage them completely fine. Whenever I'm talking about outdoor rabbits specifically, I am talking about rabbits that do not live in your household, whether it be outdoors in proper cages or in sheds or buildings in proper cages. What I mean by proper cages is 1/2 inch by 1 inch, 14 to 16 gauge galvanized wire. And if we go one more down, outdoor rabbits can have their care needs met completely fine. Going into this, all of this can be solved by just keeping your rabbits in the proper cages. So again, the 1 inch by 1/2 inch, 14 to 16 gauge galvanized wire bottom cages that are properly sized for the breed and weight of your rabbits. None of my rabbits can get out of their cages because they're built properly and they're housed properly. And this very last one, people tend to see whenever they're housing rabbits with multiple rabbits, and one rabbit passes away or needs to be rehomed, and your still existing one rabbit tends to calm down, relax, and not really move a whole lot anymore. People commonly missee this as the rabbit being depressed. However, that is not the case whatsoever. That rabbit is actually content and happy because now the rabbits aren't competing anymore. They're not having to show each other how strong and how alive they are anymore. Therefore, the still existing rabbit tends to calm down a lot and relax. So if you see your rabbits not really moving around a whole lot and calm and relaxed, that is a sign the rabbit is content and happy in life. So the question was, why is wire bottom cages bad for rabbits? And this is what I was sent. One of the things that I was sent. The first issue is it does not go over wire bottom cages whatsoever. The other issue is I had asked for a study, scientifically based study, and this is what they sent me, and this is not a study. This is now video 3 of me proving that the House Rabbit Society has no basis in science, and now we are going to go over bunnies, the great outdoor rabbit debate. Again, I asked for a science-based study, and this is not even a study, nor science-based, but I did highlight some in green because I actually do agree with this to a certain extent. Rabbits are not children's pets. They are not an Easter pet. Don't get a rabbit unless you're doing the proper research and know how to take care of it. But what the fuck is outdoor imprisonment? I find this really funny because science has literally proven that rabbits are kind of dumb. We have literally bred their brains to be smaller. Therefore, a rabbit is not as intelligent as a dog. You also can't compare a rabbit to a dog or a cat in the sense that they need the same affection and that they need the same necessities, because they are all 3 different species. And keeping a rabbit in the properly sized cage based on weight and breed is not mental cruelty. Yes, rabbits are really good at running. You know why? Because they're at the bottom of the food chain. They are at the bottom of the food chain. They are prey animals. They have to have some way to escape predators. And you're labeling everything as cruelty. We've got mental cruelty, we've got physical cruelty, outdoor imprisonment. I just want everyone to know this is what I was sent by the House Rabbit Society people whenever I had asked why keeping rabbits on wire bottom cages is bad. And I had asked for scientifically based studies over why keeping rabbits on wire bottom cages is bad. So far, I have not seen any studies, nothing that is scientifically backed, and it's all over why keeping rabbits outdoors is bad, nothing over why keeping rabbits on wire flooring is bad. So I really don't even know what to say. I still have a few more to go through that they sent me. I think this is like part 4 of me proving that the House Rabbit Society has no idea what they're talking about. This is why an indoor bunny. Quite frankly, I'm losing brain cells from reading this, and I've already explained in the last 2 videos what's highlighted in red. But what's highlighted in green I do agree with. If you're gonna have your rabbits out of their cages whatsoever, it should be supervised. But again, nothing that proves why wire bottom cages are bad. I highlighted the top portion in red because I use a fan on my rabbits during the summer, and they seem to do a lot better with a fan than without one. The middle part I highlighted in green because I do agree with this. If you're going to be housing rabbits outdoors, it should be on a wire bottom cage, lifted off the ground, and in a shaded area. The bottom part is in yellow because technically, yes, this is true, but there's so many things that you can do to eliminate this. I talked about this in the last video as well. They're just continuously repeating themselves at this point, but you can monitor outdoor rabbits completely fine, but I'm specifically talking about rabbits that are kept in cages, not on the ground. And again, my rabbits are kept outside, and I'm very familiar with their behavior patterns. And this just sounds like bad husbandry, honestly, because it does not matter if your rabbits are kept inside or outside. You should be able to recognize when there is an issue with your animals. Sometimes people miss it right away, but you should still be able to look at that animal and go, hey, there's something not quite right with this animal. And again, this is regardless if the animal is inside or outside, you should still be able to recognize when there's an issue. And the last one that's highlighted, I've already gone over in the last 2 videos, so I'm not going over it again. And again, I'm going to clarify at the end of this video too. I had asked why keeping rabbits on wire-bottom cages is bad, and I had asked for scientifically backed studies, and this is what they sent me. And this is also not a study. This is part 5 of me proving that the House Rabbit Society has no basis in science and have no idea what they're talking about. I am going through the last 2 references that they gave me. Neither one of these are studies or scientifically based, so also keep that in mind. A lot of these are screen recordings. If you want to stop and read it, more power to you, absolutely do that. But honestly, I just could not be bothered to stop and screenshot like I did in the last 4 videos about this topic and the references that they provided me, because it's literally just the exact same thing being said over and over and over and over again. And I just don't have the willpower to go over it again when I've already gone over it in the last 4 videos I've made about this. So y'all remember how this entire thing got started was because I joined a Rabbit Discord server and asked why wire-bottom cages are so bad for rabbits. And they banned me for asking that, but these are the sources that they sent me when I asked for scientifically based studies over why wire-bottom cages are bad for rabbits. And this is the only source that even mentions wire-bottom cages. And it says, do not use wire-bottom cages. This can cause severe harm to your rabbit's feet. That's all. That is the only thing in all 5 of these sources that even mention wire-bottom cages. And it does not prove that wire-bottom cages are bad. That is literally just a statement. I'm not even joking. This would be the equivalent of me walking outside and saying, hey, the sky is green. I have nothing to prove it, but you have to take my word for it. The sky is green. I'm not even joking. I don't think that the House Rabbit Society knows what a scientifically based study is. At least that's what I've gathered from this. This is just ridiculous. It's the same thing being said over and over again. It's really honestly mind-numbing reading the same thing over and over again. And this is not even close to what I had asked for. Like, because the question was, why is wire-bottom cages bad? And this is the bullshit that they sent me over why wire-bottom cages are bad. And most of them don't even mention wire-bottom cages. In this first paragraph at the bottom, I guess they're trying to say that rabbits who are kept in cages have skeletal problems, which is absolutely not true. If your rabbit is kept in the properly sized cage, your rabbit is not going to have skeletal problems. Oh, and for all the pet rabbit people out there who continuously say that rabbits are not territorial, this is your own community saying that rabbits are territorial animals. The very first paragraph, it says, they are also highly territorial animals. And this is what we mean whenever we say that the House Rabbit Society is constantly contradicting themselves, because they are constantly contradicting themselves. Rabbits are territorial, they're not territorial. Only poorly bred rabbits are going to have issues on wire. All rabbits have issues on wire. It's just a constant contradicting argument between themselves because none of them have any idea what they're talking about. Because they haven't done the research. They have not looked at the studies. And they're so caught up in their own little fantasy worlds that they don't realize that they're actually harming their rabbits. It's just absolutely insane to me. And again, if you want to read through these studies completely, or they're not even studies, references, if you want to read through these references completely, by all means do so. But I'm done here. Can't do any more reading.